On the eastern side of the island, in the money pit area, a lot of wood is discovered. Following the collapse of their first caisson target, TB1, the team anxiously monitors the excavation of their next target, called AC1, where a potentially important discovery has been made some 100 feet underground. Look at that, someone remarks, we hit the jackpot with wood. That looks like an old timber. The excitement builds as they confirm, there you go. All right, we're hitting something, right? With confirmation. Yeah. They note, okay, we're at 96 with the dig. So, what's this wood telling us? It appears they have busted through a tunnel, a possible tunnel located nearly 100 feet deep. That's impressive, isn't it? Says one. Very impressive, another agrees. The team had not expected to encounter man-made workings until reaching the mysterious cave at a depth of 145 feet. A request for assistance, can you give me a hand, is met with a quick yep. This raises two critical questions. Have they merely discovered a structure built by previous searches? Or have they found a tunnel built by someone who buried treasure deep in the money pit area? That looks hand-hewn, doesn't it? Yeah. You can feel it, yeah. These timbers look really old. Yeah. And notably, there's no iron fasteners in it, which is interesting. I think that's an older construction. Yeah. When asked if there are any ideas about what tunnel this could be, the answer is, no, not with wood exhibiting those characteristics. Yeah. Could be really old. Is it possible that the team has intercepted a tunnel constructed long ago to hide something of great value? And if so, could it be related in some way to Aladdin's cave? More wood is discovered. One says, my gut feeling and your gut feeling says, this is some kind of old tunnel. Sometimes you've got to go with your gut and we're both hungry for treasure. With a laugh, they add, hopefully, it's around this tunnel. Maybe. The team is really excited about finding this wood, indicating a possible previously unknown tunnel. It could be critically important. As one expert says, the treasure will not materialize in solid, so there has to be a structure associated with it. Later, someone greets another with, hey, Scott, how are you doing? And the reply comes, hey, guys, we're just finishing up our spoils down there by the wash table, and this beautiful spike came out of those spoils. The reaction is instant. Ooh, that's nice. Look at the head on that thing. That's really old. That's nice. One guesses, if I was guessing, I would say 1600s or even older. Wow, yeah, definitely. It goes back. That's beautiful. That's bloody gorgeous. They admit, I would never expect them to find that in the spoils coming out of that tunnel. No, especially since the tunnel wood had no fasteners. This must have come out of something else. They imagine. Can you imagine that in the side of a chest? Or a lid of a chest? Sounds good to me. Could the spike date back to the 17th century or earlier and be related to a possible container? If so, what else might the team find at the bottom of Aladdin's cave? The following morning, it is noted, we are in AC1 and between 90 and 110 feet, low, and behold, a spike was found. In the war room, the team gathers, once again to meet with the researcher preparing to share her scientific report on the iron spike that was recovered just one day ago inside a mysterious tunnel during the AC1 shaft excavation. She begins, okay, well, first off, the X-ray CT scans of the nail. We see the wood-like grain structure, so it is wrought iron. We see the striking of the different angles of the head, which it does indicate that it is a rose head. Cross-section is square, means it's hand-forged, not machine-cut. And the composition, it's really minimal. We have a lot of sulfur and phosphorus content, which indicates more of a likely English origin. We see a potassium content throughout, which does indicate that it's a charcoal-fueled furnace and not coal. So, all of these combine, give it a most recent date of mid-1700s, and possibly earlier. Responses come quickly. Great, that's crazy. It's amazing. Yeah. Then the question comes, that's great. What other data do we have? A reply follows, we've got some data from an old English metal detectorist. I don't know how trustworthy that might be. But go ahead, she reaffirms. Pre-1750s, I'm saying 1750s, but could be earlier. Yeah, I found a lot of these. When you see this thick chunky spike with that big rose head on that, that's an oldie. You go anywhere in Europe, you see this type of iron spike in cabinets, doors, and chests. Home. That could have easily come out of a treasure chest. This is your typical 1600 spike. The response is enthusiastic. I like 1600s, that is exciting. Wow, the discovery of the spike could be an important clue. It might point either to an early recovery effort or perhaps even the original deposit itself. There is agreement on this point. Several theories align at that time frame. Ranging from the 1600s into the 1750s, it could very well be connected to William Phipps. The mention of the 1600s fits the timeline for Sir William Phipps, especially considering the incredible amount of hard-to-refute evidence suggesting his presence within the round feature on Lot 5. People associated with Lot 5 may have been living on the island, possibly for the original construction of the money pit. And now, there may be actual evidence that William Phipps deposited a treasure on Oak Island in the money pit. In 1687, under the direction of the English crown, Captain William Phipps located the famed wreck of the Concepcion, a Spanish treasure galleon which had sunk off the coast of the modern-day Dominican Republic in 1641, along with 100 tons of Spanish silver, gold, and jewels. After recovering 34 tons of silver, Phipps was knighted and ordered to return for the remaining valuables. However, when he and his assistant, a high-ranking Freemason named Andrew Belcher, completed the second salvage operation, they reported that locals had looted the wreck and that only 5 additional tons of treasure had been recovered. But this is where a critical discovery comes into play. A 1688 letter was found, showing that Captain Andrew Belcher was caught with one of Phipps's ships in the Mahon Bay area at the exact time that Phipps was returning from the second attempt, when he officially did not find as much silver. According to the research of a 32nd degree Freemason, Sir William Phipps and Captain Andrew Belcher may have buried the missing Spanish treasure on Oak Island, using their knowledge of an existing vault that had been deposited in the money pit centuries earlier by members of the Knights Templar. Could the spike recovered in AC-1, along with the tools and bricks unearthed on Lot 5, not only help explain why the team has found evidence that multiple treasures might be buried in the money pit area, but also suggest what might await them in Aladdin's cave? The theory fits. If the spike is from the 1600s, then it aligns with a lot of historical context. But beyond theories, the most important takeaway is that the spike indicates someone was working deep in the money pit area long before its discovery. That is the most significant conclusion. The treasure could still be lying below, possibly in the cave. Mystery upon intrigue upon mystery. That is what makes this a truly beautiful story, a gripping mystery, and an ongoing treasure hunt. Absolutely. Standing at the precipice of opening the door to that cave, everyone around the table holds high hopes for what might lie within. Together, they are committed to doing the best job possible to see and retrieve whatever may rest in Aladdin's cave. Open sesame. The team is united. Let's get out there and find it. Agree. Well said.